these shapes all in one document. So here's how we need to get started. We open up Illustrator, we go File, New, and we need to create a 36-inch by 36-inch document. Okay. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to hold down Control minus 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 minus. Okay, looks like I zoomed a little bit too far out. Open up my layers right over here, and I want to paste in these 3 documents into there. So I'm going to copy this image for the first one, paste it in here. Okay, maybe I want to make this a little bit bigger. Hold down the Shift key when you resize it. Then I want to come in here. I'm going to go to the Shapes 2, copy this image, paste it in here. Okay, and then I'm going to find the third one right here, copy this image, and I need to come in here, paste it in here. So now I have all 3 of those images inside of this document. Okay, so now that I have these 3, and you can kind of just move them around however you want, I'm going to want to use the pen tool to trace these out. So I need to lock layer 1. I'm going to create a new layer. On that new layer, I zoom in, and we need to start with the first shape. So I'm going to kind of come up here and over. Okay, I created the new layer, and I need to, I'm going to just go ahead and I'll start with the box here. So I want to use the pen tool to recreate all of these shapes. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'll fill this one in with black. So I can come over here, change that, fill it in with black. Okay, so the next one over here is a circle. So what I can actually do for a circle is I can use the ellipse tool, I can hold down the Shift key, and I can try to recreate a circle here, and then I can move it so that it's right over that shape. Use the arrow keys left to right. Okay, for this one, I'm going to again come over here. I'm going to use the pen tool, start down there, and I just want to follow the shape as best as I can. Okay, now if you notice in my directions, I say that I want you to, rather than having all the images be black, apply a gradient to 7 of the shapes and apply different colors to the rest. Okay, so here's how we would apply a different color to one of these things. Let's click on the square, for instance. I'll come over here to the fill, double click on fill, and I can choose a different color red. Maybe I want this, so I click on this one. Again, the stroke color can be nothing, none, but I want my fill color. I can double click on this. Maybe I make my fill color be blue, and then this one, let's apply a gradient to it. So here's how we apply a gradient to something. Click on the gradient tool, and then I can drag, and you'll notice nothing's happening here. That's because my fill needs to be the gradient. Okay, so to add a gradient, we come up here in the fill. We want to fill it in with a gradient, just like that. Okay, so black and white is probably not the best colors. So what we want to do is we come up here, we have colors, and what I can do is I can, let's say, I want, oops, I'm going to come to my color guide right over here. Actually, I want, alright, so, whoops, I need to reapply, so we want a gradient on here. Open up my swatches. Again, if you don't have your swatches window, just find swatches. So you go to Window, Swatches, open up swatches. Here's my gradient. If you don't have a gradient window, make sure that you open that up, open gradient, and I can drag a swatch from here down to my gradient. So maybe I want this to go from red to pink. So I can just drag those in, or maybe red to orange. I can even drag in another one in here, like I can have yellow, so I can have 3 colors, whatever you want. Now let's say I want to change the direction of this gradient. I can just click, change the direction of the gradient, just like that. Okay, so I have now recreated that one, applied a gradient. So the next one, I come over, and let's go ahead and grab the pen tool here. Again, I'm going to want to trace this guy out. And you notice the fill color on here is the gradient. So that's good. but maybe I want to apply a different gradient to this guy. So I can drag in a different color in here, drag in a different color down here, and we can have a different gradient applied to that. Now once you get down to some of these shapes, when you're tracing this out using the pen tool, like this shape right here, we're going to want to not have the fill color on when you're tracing it out. The reason for that is it's going to get tricky. Click right here. It gets kind of tricky right there. So we want to turn the fill color and our stroke color to nothing for both of those. Then I come around here, click and drag. Alright, and now that I've outlined that guy, now I can fill it in with either a color. I can come up here, fill this in with a color. Or maybe I want to fill it in with a gradient, so I click on the gradient, and then I can just drag in colors into here. So I can like click on a color. This is another way you can like, so if I want to change this red, I can have it on color and maybe make it blue or whatever color I want. Click on red. Okay, so again, for this project, you're going to want to trace out all of these shapes. Okay, so again, for this project, you're going to want to recreate all of these images on this document right here. So it's kind of a lot, but you want to recreate all of these images. You want them all to be different colors. You want to apply a gradient to 7 of the images. Once you're done, you want to save this as an Illustrator file. So you go File, Save As, save this as an Illustrator file, and then upload that Illustrator file to this Google Classroom assignment.